Hello and welcome to the PublishU podcast, where we explore the real-life stories of authors from around the world. Today, we are talking to Lu Dong from Japan, who has written a book, Understanding the Way. Lu, welcome. It's great to have you with us.
Hi, Matt. Thank you to have me here.
It's wonderful to connect with friends from authors from around the world. We're friends and we're fellow authors together. But Lu, just for those people who don't know you, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, sure. I'm currently living in Japan, Tokyo, but I'm from China, actually. I'm from Beijing. I was born in Beijing, grew up in Beijing. I came to Japan by myself 30 years ago as a student. Yeah, ended up graduating from university here, worked in finance here in Japan. Then I went to the US, got my MBA in the US, and then went back to China as start my entrepreneur journey from there.
Wow.
I ended up spending 10 years in China, starting 2 businesses, sold them, and then moved back to Japan. So about 9 years ago. So I'm working on my third company right now.
Yeah, amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
What an incredible story and adventure you've been on so far. And tell us about those early years in Beijing, China, Lu. What have you seen? What have you experienced?
Yes, sure. So if I expand a little bit of my experience in China is that I grew up in sort of a campus. So imagine the top university in China is called Tsinghua. It's like the Harvard or MIT or Stanford. I was basically my three generation. My father was a professor there, and my father was born on campus, and I was born and grew up on a campus. So that's my world. And until 1989, along with all the college students, we went on the street to go protest the government for anti-corruption. And then the tanks and the guns start firing, and that kind of turned everything upside down. Yeah, so that was
you were there at that very
exactly
famous historic event.
Exactly. So I was only 17. I wasn't a college student yet, but since I grew up on campus, I was always with the college students. So yeah, it's very natural for my family and myself to be involved. So I was there. Yes.
So
And
what happened following Tiananmen Square?
so yeah, so my grandpa and my family they got very angry about what the government did, and our whole family decided that that wasn't a country for we think we are for our values. So we decided to leave the country to go somewhere else. So that started my journey outside of China. I ended up coming to Japan by myself, and my father and my immediate family decided to go to India. Actually, my dad took a diplomat job for the government, and they went to India. I went to Japan by myself, and ever since then, our family never really lived together in one country.
Wow.
That kind of changed our family life.
Yeah.
Yes.
How incredible.
Yes.
And Lu, your the book you've written, Understanding the Way, tells some of this story, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Let's come back to that in a little while. But first, why is it you decided I'm going to write a book? What was the trigger or triggers?
Yeah, well, the trigger was you.
Really?
Yeah. Well, actually, I had the idea of writing a book about my journey. The primary reason was when I was in China, when I went back in China, right? I used to speak at the colleges about my experience. Yes. Because I just happened to have this experience that a lot of the college students in China, they kind of aspire to this. They're like, well, you've been to Japan, you've been to the US, you did investment banking, consulting, venture capital. Now you're a serial entrepreneur, you raised millions of dollars funding. So all these experiences were kind of like they like to hear the story. So I've been basically speaking from college, university to university. And I was like, well, since I was kind of repeating the same contents, why don't I just write a book so that the young people, the college student, or even the young professionals,
Yeah.
they can have a kind of open a window for them to see what really happened in those industries, and what really happened, and what is really MBA about in the top sort of universities in US,
Yeah.
and what's the difference between the three education systems I've been through: China, Japan, and US. What is it like to start a company in a foreign country, right? Stuff like that. So that was my initial thoughts, but these are just ideas, and you helped me really materialize it, really put it in the book.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you were telling the stories. You were thinking, what about a book? We met in the US.
Yes.
You joined the course, and it was a 100-day course to write your book.
Yes.
What was
Yes.
it about the course that you found most helpful in writing?
Well, I think first of all, I think the system, the methodology, right, of writing a book in 100 days and divide it into, like very detailed daily plan, right? I really like the way you set a goal, and you remember you said what's on the calendar will get executed, right? What's not on the calendar will not get executed, right? So I think that's the whole entire approach, right, of writing a book. It's like a project, right? Anything to achieve anything, there need to be a certain tool, certain framework, certain processes that will guarantee, the result. So the process itself sort of guaranteed the result already.
Yeah, yeah.
The second part, I liked it. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, go on, carry it after you.
Okay, so the second part I like it about is that I wasn't alone. I really like the group study, or group, I don't know, group journey approach, right?
Yeah.
So, like you put together a cohort, right? Where I remember they're like, up to 10 people from all around the world. And we had weekly meetings, sort of, have this sharing sessions, and we sort of share the same goal. So, like I felt like I wasn't alone, and I felt there's some people ahead of me in terms of progress, somebody ahead behind me, but I felt they're always basically. And again, I'm not alone. We're just doing this together with a group of people. We're helping each other.
Yeah, amazing. So both the structure I created and coached you through, and being part of a peer group of other people on the same journey, really makes a difference for you. And it worked. I mean, I think you wrote a book of 54,000 words in 100 days in a second language. Is that right?
Yes. It's, if you think about that way, that's pretty unbelievable. Yeah. It's my original target was 30,000 words, right? And 30,000 words in 100 days in a second language, or maybe even a third language, because I think my Japanese supposedly is better than my English. But anyway, I think that's quite an achievement. I definitely couldn't do this by myself. Yeah,
amazing. Well, congratulations then, congratulations again, and now your book is globally published, Understanding the Way. So coming on to the book, I mean, it's out there. I mean, how do you feel now your book is published and available worldwide, Lou?
It's so first of all, I feel it's just a starting point. Very much like like what Chuck, one of the endorsement said. It's just season 1, and he couldn't wait to see season 2, right? So I think same feeling here. Well, to put it like, I don't think I'm a successful entrepreneur like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs, so that everybody will read this book to understand how to be successful. But my approach is rather like the poor lady in the temple, where she put in 2 cents, right? And Jesus said something along the line like, don't underestimate this 2 cents, right? By tithe by this poor lady, because that's everything she had, right? I think that's everything I had. That's my life. Even though I'm not famous, I'm not successful yet to the worldly standard. But I think my approach is like, I don't need to be successful to help others. I think if by sharing my experience, by sharing my journey, that I can help others, to inspire others, right? That's good enough. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Well, your 2 cents is amazing, Lou, and I think it's an encouragement to us all. That meaning in life really is found in what we give, not by what we get.
Yes.
Success. Yeah. Of course, we want to be successful and go out there and this, that, and the other. But actually, the greatest meaning is found in what we give, our 2 cents. And as you're listening today, just want to say, well, what's the equivalent of your 2 cents, and how are you giving that to the world today? I think that's a really profound thought. And your book, Understanding Ways, full of these thoughts and insights, for life. Lou, if you had to summarize your book, in a nutshell, for somebody who's listening now thinking, wow, Lou is just a fascinating person, lived a fascinating life, done some fascinating things. I mean, how would you describe this next achievement for you, this book, to anybody listening?
Sure. I think it's just like the back cover story is that I think for the 13 chapters I wrote is about literally my journey, right, of doing all this many things in my life and up until this point, so that at the first level, a young professional can learn what investment banking, what consulting, what MBA is like, so they can learn about this. The second layer, or the second level, I think I want to really communicate with the readers is like why I made those decisions, what really matters to me, and why I did all these things, right? So it's what and why. And I hope by reading this book, I think there are a lot of people like me, they are struggling between the worldly standard of success, gaining all these achievements, like collecting badges, right? And but at the same time, they're struggling with the meaning of life, why I'm doing this, and what's the purpose of life, right? What's the end goal, right? So I think this will be, I hope, be a book to get them thinking. So
amazing.
Yeah.
And it's doing that already, and will increasingly do that. Lou, I know you said this was your 2 cents, the equivalent of, but I have a feeling this won't be your last book.
Like I said, it's only season 1. I've already started having ideas of season 2.
Okay, so what's season 2 going to be about?
Well, the season 2, I thinking it's about how I really walk the way, right? So season 1 is understanding the way, right? So for the 12 chapters, it's all about how I figure out. And the last chapter, finally I understand why I'm doing all this, right? I start understand the meaning. I think the next season will be, I'm just how I actually, after understanding the way, how I walk the way, right? So it's going to be about how I really apply the biblical principles, the wisdoms, to running my business. So I devoted my business as a ministry to build God's kingdom and be meaningful. And what's the really, the impact after understanding the way, after I walk the way, what are the outcomes, and also the principles, by applying these principles and wisdoms to business that actually can improve the business, to be the vehicle of love, to be the vehicle of righteousness, to be the vehicle of giving and generosity and human prosperity for others, to be the love. The definition of love that I learned from the Bible is to be the path for others so that they can be the best of themselves, right? So I want to just spend the next, I don't know, number of years doing what I do and document that and share my experience.
Amazing. Well, we're excited by volume 1. We're going to go and grab it now. And volume 2, we can already picture it on the horizon out there. And it's so good. Thank you, Lou, for joining us today. And thank you all
for
listening to the PublishU podcast, featuring the real life stories of authors from around the world. If you're interested in becoming a published author like Lou, please visit our website, www.PublishU.com. That's the letter U, PublishU.com. And if you enjoyed this broadcast, make sure you subscribe for more. Thank you so much for joining us, and goodbye for now.
Thank you.